Hello my loves. Now I'm going to apologise now because number one, I'm not very well, so I sound groggy, and number two, there are chunks of footage completely missing due to some sort of technical error. So here I'm doing Shannon's nails. I'm going straight in with prep spray at the beginning, and now I'm pushing back her cuticles using my Ethel cuticle tool from Navy Professional. I've sped it up just to make the video a little bit shorter, but as you can see, I'm not pushing hard at all. She has previously had nails from I guess you would class it as an NSS salon, but she hasn't had them on for a while, so there was some cuticle build-up that needed nipping. I don't nip unless it needs nipping, but there was, especially on the thumb, there was quite juicy areas. I love a bit of cuticle work. I do now anyway. I never used to. I used to hate it. As you can see, Ethel kind of releases that cuticle from the nail plate and allows me to get under there quickly with the E-file. So the shape of Ethel is slanted, you know, like a chisel. It's a similar shape to that. Because of the way it's slanted, it very easily and effortlessly releases that cuticle that's stuck to the nail plate. And then any tissue that's kind of growing, because some people their tissue grows further down the nail plate, it just removes that very, very easily. Not everybody has excessive build-up, but more often than not, especially if someone's not used to having their nails done, they will have build-up. I get quite a lot, even though I have my nails done. Like, I do my nails all the time. So yes, I've caught the London lurgy from the tube station, no doubt. Once I've done these steps, I will just dust off any brush. Brush off any dust. Okay, I've been up since 3:30 this morning, so you know. And then I'm going to go in with my Helen cuticle nippers. This is so satisfying. These nippers are incredibly sharp, which is great because if you're going in with substandard nippers, then you're going to find that you have to do a lot of pulling and tugging, and that's not healthy for your client, and it's certainly not a good look. So with these nippers, you just have the slightest touch and the cuticle is nipped. So it's very, very precise, very easy, very quick, and I'll show you on the thumb. It's easier to see because there was more build up on here. It's just so simple, just the slightest little touch. I love it, very satisfying. I've applied my nail forms and I'm going in with Diamond Nail Supply's primer. We did forms. We were going to use pre-pinched stiletto tips from Glitter Planet UK, but Shannon's nail beds weren't really curved enough to take that. They were quite flat, so it would have been tight and uncomfortable and probably cause lifting, so I decided to sculpt them out. So I've applied a thin clear bead to the free edge of the nail, and I've feathered it back up slightly and then started mapping out the shape that I want, and then I'll go in with another clear bead just to protect the actual nail plate itself, because we're going to use coloured acrylic. So I'm working pretty thin and I'm just smoothing that product down so that it's nice and easy on the application. Another bead there at the tip just to make sure we've got enough thickness to support the nail, because the powders I'll be using are designed so they don't have strength. I'm doing the same here. Blending that bead back, making sure it's going right up to the corners, each corner of the free edge. You don't want a gap there. And then marking out the length that I want, and then going in with a bead on the actual nail itself. You don't want too much thickness, it's more of a protection thing. you don't want staining or anything like that. And then I'm going to start checking if this nail's ready for pinching. I like to pinch. You don't really have to pinch if you've got a good curve on your form, but I did find with Shannon's nails, they were very, very flat, and I think they would have a tendency to look wider if I didn't just slightly pinch that free edge, just slightly nip it in a little bit. So it's more for aesthetical purposes, I suppose, because you have got a natural C curve when you pinch that form. So I'm doing the same again here, bead at the free edge, feather back. Blend it down the nail. We actually went a bit longer initially, and then she decided she wanted them shorter, so I adjusted them towards the end. But it's always better to have too much length than obviously not enough length, so I'd rather have a little bit more and have to, you know, my clients say, oh, actually, I think they're a little bit long. That's much easier to rectify. So I hope you all enjoyed the vlog of London. Now, I know it was released yesterday that Angel Crystals are going to be opening Swarovski crystal workshops. So I'll put the links to the website down below, and you can book a space on the workshop. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I mean, it was the most amazing experience with crystals of all shapes and all sizes, and you just get a chance to use things you might not necessarily purchase for yourself. You get to see what you're capable of, and it was a real confidence booster, a real inspirational day, so I would thoroughly recommend it. You probably get more of me sculpting in this video than you do of me doing design work, because I had real issues. I had 6 minutes of footage just completely go black, just nothing on the screen. It recorded it, it was there was some sort of file error. I could have cried. I was so sad. So I'm checking, you'll feel the acrylic start to warm up a little bit as well. Once it starts to warm up, you give it a little test press, and as long as those sides don't collapse, so they kind of squish, then if they start to squish, you do not pinch. And if those sides are warming up and they're not collapsing, then you know you can give it a light pinch, test it with your pinching tool, and if you're happy, then continue. I'm so sorry about the sniffing. It's just a really horrible cold. I feel ugh. Again, the whole purpose of the base, it's like a sandwich technique, isn't it? You lay a thin base down with clear, that's your strength. Then you apply your design in the middle, and then you cap it with your clear, which is your strength again. Obviously, if you're working with a core system powders only, then you don't need to, you know, you can build a whole nail in nude because that's a core system, that's a strength powder. But if you're using thin layers of colours or glitters, they must be sandwiched in between 2 thin layers of a core system powder to ensure strength. Otherwise, you will just have weak nails and people will be coming back with nails missing. So once these are all set, I've checked the size, we've gone down a bit as you can see, And I've just filed in roughly where we're going to be going, just so I've got a rough kind of mapping out. And the colour that I'm using, I'm just cleaning any dust off from where I was filing. The colour that I'm using is from Glam and Glitz, and it's called Sunrise to Sunset. It's a colour change. So it colour changes orange to yellow. It's beautiful. Someone said, I love that amber. I think it was Black Swan Beauty. Said, I love those amber nails. I did find Glam and Glitz worked differently with the monomer I'm using now, which is my Diamond Nail Supplies monomer. Because I've used this colour change acrylic before, and oh, also I can see there was a step there. So some of Shannon's nails were more, they had a heavier set kind of curve. I don't know what you would call it. It's not as exaggerated as you would have if you had a hook nail. But you know when you kind of have a curved nail naturally at the top, the actual shape of the finger, which caused that kind of step down effect, which I probably could have made an adjustment for if I'd have noticed it at the beginning, but I didn't notice it. And I forgot where I was going now, because, you know, I've been up since silly o'clock. Dawn Eastwood sent me this beautiful material last year. She's such a sweetheart. She sent me this last year and I'm still using it now. It's wonderful. I think we just called it Fairy Wings material. So I'm laying that onto a clear bead, and then I'll add more clear just to kind of stick it down in place. You could glue it. I know what I was talking about, the Glam and Glitz colour. I've used it before, and I don't remember having patchiness with it before, so it may just be because obviously I'm using a different system, and mixing systems, as long as your core system for strength is the same, it's okay. Sometimes you can just find things perform differently. Different colours perform differently, different brands perform differently. So it's all experimental. I'm going in here with, there's two glitters. I'm using Smiley's Glitter Store Lush Gold Peach Effect, which is a multi-cut peachy colour glitter, peachy orangey, that glows gold. Stunning. And I've also got the Unicorn's Den Mermaid's Tail. And I'm just using those to feather out the edge where the material meets this colour change. Sorry about my hands, they were so dry, obviously from all the chemicals. And then I'm just using my scissors to quickly nip the edges off of the material once I know it's kind of started to stick. There was an annoying bit there. It was really bugging me. I think I nipped it off. Yeah, I did. So as you can see, I noticed on this pinky that it was starting to get patchy. So I went in and recovered. I love the look of this. It looks like you're putting a different colour down. Just needed a little bit more pigment. And then I went in with my clear and capped. So when you're capping, you need to make sure that you're covering all of the glitter, all of the design work, so that once you file, you're not going to take away that design work. Oh, my brush. What am I using here? I think I started off using my Glitter Planet brush and then changed because I'm having some, I think it needs replacing. Having some issues with the bristles kind of splaying out. I've had it for ages, so I think it's time for a new one. So I changed to my Glitter Fairy size 10. So I'm capping that now. Then I'll go on and cap the pinky. This is going to have a pigment on it, so I'm not worried about if there's any slight loss of pigmentation. Okay, now on to this finger. I think this is going to be a full nail of the colour change with just like a glitter S done back to front in my key method. This is why I started to go out of shot, so I apologise, there are some bits missing. But all I did was on this finger I did the glitter S thing. On the index finger I did a glitter fade, and then the thumb was the same as the pinky, so some footage is missing. Oh dear, I really need to learn to sleep. You know when you're not very well and you can't sleep, you're like, oh. But I wanted to get this out this morning because I've been asked to recreate what's on my nails now after the Swarovski workshop. Now I don't have those exact crystals at home, but I can show you the design on my nails. I can recreate that. This is the finished item. Like I said, I lost all my filing footage. I lost all of that. So I'm sorry it was short, but I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll see you in my next video. Tally bye.